June 1943, Sicily. Allied invasion. A British commando stands at the front of a landing craft. German machine guns tearing through the air. Mortars exploding on the beach. Men dying before they hit the sand. And this officer is playing bagpipes, while bullets ricochet off the metal ramp. The ramp drops. Churchill steps onto the beach, still playing. Walks through the chaos like he's strolling through a park. Then he stops, sets down the bagpipes, draws a broadsword, an actual medieval broadsword, and charges the German positions, screaming, waving a sword. In 1943, his commanding officer called it ridiculous, said no modern officer needs medieval weapons, ordered him to use proper equipment. Churchill ignored him, kept the sword, kept the bow, kept the bagpipes. 2 hours later, 42 German soldiers surrender to one British officer, armed with a sword. The commanding officer who called it ridiculous? He requested Churchill for every dangerous mission after that. Because Lieutenant Colonel John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill didn't just fight World War II with medieval weapons. He proved that sometimes the most ridiculous idea is the one that wins. This is that story. 1940, Britain is losing, France fallen, Norway failed, Dunkirk evacuated. The German war machine seems unstoppable. British High Command needs a new approach, something unconventional. They create commando units, elite soldiers for impossible missions, hit hard, disappear fast, strike terror. The problem? Conventional commando tactics aren't working. Germans are experienced soldiers, disciplined. They don't scare easily. British commandos fight like soldiers. The Germans respond like soldiers, and win. Operation Claymore, Norway, 1941. Commandos land with standard equipment, rifles, grenades, everything by the book. Germans respond by the book, defensive positions, suppressing fire. The raid achieves objectives but takes casualties. Nothing decisive. High Command knows conventional tactics produce conventional results. The tactical advantage of surprise only works if you're actually surprising. How do you make hardened German soldiers hesitate? That's when someone notices Lieutenant Churchill's results. His raids succeed when others fail. Low casualties, high captures, objectives achieved. But his methods are, in the words of his superior officer, completely ridiculous. He carries medieval weapons, plays bagpipes during combat, charges machine gun positions with a sword. Equipment requisitions list 1 Scottish broadsword, 1 longbow, 48 arrows, 1 set of bagpipes. His commanding officer wants him court-martialed, but his soldiers volunteer for his missions, even the suicidal ones, because Churchill doesn't lose men. His ridiculous tactics keep them alive, and in war, results matter more than regulations. It starts with a simple observation. Modern soldiers are trained for modern warfare. They know how to react to rifles, machine guns, grenades. German defensive doctrine is precise. Hear gunfire, establish suppressing fire, call for support, flank when possible. It works. It's efficient. It's predictable. But there's nothing in the training manual about bagpipes or swords. Churchill understands psychological warfare. A soldier's brain processes threats based on training. Familiar threats get automatic responses. Unfamiliar threats cause hesitation. Human reaction time to known threats, 0.7 seconds. Unknown threats, 3.4 seconds. That 2.7-second difference is lethal. The sword isn't for killing, it's for terror. Modern soldiers don't fear modern weapons. They're trained for those. But a screaming maniac charging with a broadsword? That's not in the manual. That breaks the brain. That creates 3 seconds of, what the hell is happening? 3 seconds is enough. The longbow has practical advantages. Silent, no muzzle flash, reusable ammunition. But the real advantage is psychological. A German guard dies from an arrow, silently. His partner turns. No gunshot, no muzzle flash, just a medieval arrow in his chest. That's supernatural terror. That makes soldiers run. The bagpipes? Pure psychological warfare. Historically, Scottish bagpipes meant Highland warriors. Fierce, unstoppable, terrifying. Germans know those stories. And now those sounds are coming from the beach they're defending. Churchill's superior officer argues, "We have artillery, air support. You want a sword?" Churchill's response is simple. Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. He's not joking. He genuinely believes in the tactical advantage of psychological warfare through anachronistic weapons, and he's willing to prove it. Churchill doesn't just carry medieval weapons, he masters them. 6 hours daily practice with the longbow, not for show, for precision, for killing. Modern soldiers train with rifles. 500 rounds, learn to shoot. Churchill fires 500 arrows, learns trajectory, wind compensation, moving targets. The Scottish claymore weighs 4 pounds, 35 inches of steel. Most men can barely lift it. Churchill fights with it. He studies medieval combat manuals, learns techniques that kept men alive for centuries, how to fight in confined spaces, how to generate power, how to kill quickly. The sword isn't his primary weapon. It's his intimidation tool, his psychological edge. The real preparation is mental, convincing his men that his tactics work. He demonstrates the longbow, kills a training target at 200 yards. Silently, his men understand. No sound means no alert. He demonstrates the sword, charges a simulated machine gun position. The defenders hesitate, confused. He's inside their position before they react. The hesitation is real, even in training. Churchill explains the doctrine. Modern weapons for modern combat, medieval weapons for psychological advantage. Use both. Win. His men start believing. Not because it's conventional, because it works. Then comes the bagpipes. He uses them for signals, for intimidation, for morale, but more importantly, to tell his men where he is in the chaos, to tell the enemy that the maniac with the sword is coming. High Command assigns Churchill a raid on Norway. Intelligence says it's suicide. Perfect test. His superior officer pleads, "Churchill, this is serious. Leave the ridiculous weapons. You'll get your men killed." Churchill's response, "Sir, I would feel improperly dressed without my sword," then boards the landing craft, medieval weapons and all. December 27, 1941, Vågsøy Island, Norway, German-occupied. Churchill's landing craft approaches the beach. The plan is simple. Land. Eliminate sentries. Take the town. Churchill has a different plan. The boat hits the beach. Ramp drops. Churchill starts playing bagpipes. German sentries freeze. That's not rifle fire. That's bagpipes. Ancient. Impossible. Terrifying. 3 seconds of hesitation. Churchill's men are already off the boat. In position. Weapons ready. Then Churchill draws his sword. Still playing. Charges the nearest position. The German fires. Misses. His brain cannot process what he's seeing. Churchill closes the distance. 4 seconds. The German drops his rifle and runs. Position secured. No shots fired by Churchill. Just terror. Churchill signals his men. They advance, heading for the main garrison. Intelligence reports 42 German soldiers holding the central building. Fortified. Machine guns. Churchill approaches. Alone. Sword in hand. His men watch from cover. Ready. Wondering if their commander has lost his mind. Churchill reaches the door. Doesn't crouch. Just stands there. Exposed. Calm. Inside, German soldiers report. British officer approaching, armed with a sword, just standing there. The commander orders his men to prepare. But something feels wrong. This is obviously a trap. Churchill kicks open the door, walks inside, finds himself facing 42 armed Germans. He doesn't fire, doesn't retreat, just stands there, sword ready, staring. The Germans stare at this British officer, with a sword, no backup, completely calm. Their training says shoot. Their instincts say something is wrong. Churchill speaks. Perfect German. "Your position is surrounded. My men have orders to demolish this building. You have 30 seconds. It's a complete bluff. His unit is 20 men, no demolition charges, not surrounding anything. But the Germans don't know that. The German commander orders surrender, 42 soldiers, to one British officer, armed with a sword. After Vågsøy, Churchill becomes the commando they send when missions are impossible. Sicily, Salerno, Yugoslavia. Every operation more dangerous than the last. Every time Churchill brings his medieval arsenal. May 1940. France. L'Épinette. Churchill ambushes a German patrol. He uses the longbow. Silent. Precise. 200 yards. The German sentry falls. Arrow through the chest. Dead before he hits the ground. It's the last recorded longbow kill in combat history. Medieval weapon, modern war. Churchill doesn't celebrate, just retrieves the arrow, keeps hunting. July 1943, Sicily invasion. Churchill lands playing bagpipes, walks through machine gun fire like bullets can't touch him. His men follow, not because they're ordered, because if the maniac with bagpipes can walk through that, they can too. The psychological effect works both ways. Emboldens allies, terrifies enemies. Churchill's presence changes combat. His men fight harder, push further. Enemy morale collapses faster. If the British send a bagpipe-playing sword fighter, what else are they capable of? September 1943, Salerno. Churchill leads the charge, sword drawn. German defenders report, British officer armed with sword. Command thinks it's battle stress. Mistranslation. But the reports keep coming. Officer with sword. Officer with bow. Officer playing bagpipes under fire. German intelligence creates a file. Der verrückte Kommandant. The mad commandant. Warn units he's dangerous. What they don't understand is spreading panic is the objective. 1944, Yugoslavia. Churchill's unit ambushed, surrounded, outnumbered 20-1. Standard tactics say surrender. Churchill orders his men to fix bayonets, prepare to charge, then plays the bagpipes, while completely surrounded. The Germans pause. Surrounded units don't play music, unless it's a trap. Churchill uses the hesitation, leads a breakout charge, sword swinging. They escape. 0 casualties. By war's end, Churchill's confirmed captures, over 100 Germans. Weapons, sword, longbow, bagpipes. After the war, Churchill's superior officers finally ask, why the sword? Why the medieval weapons? Churchill's answer is simple. Tactical advantage through psychological warfare. Make the enemy hesitate. Make them fear. Make them question reality. Modern soldiers are trained for modern threats. Break that training, and you break their effectiveness. But there's more. Churchill genuinely believed in the warrior code. An officer should embody courage, lead from the front, refuse to ask men to do what he wouldn't do himself. Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. Not a joke, a philosophy. Modern weapons make killing efficient, distant, abstract. Churchill wanted combat to be personal, direct, honest. The Longbow kill in 1940 remains the last recorded in history. Perfect symbol of Churchill's approach. His tactics influenced special operations doctrine, not the medieval weapons, but the psychological component. Enemy morale is as important as enemy casualties. Make them afraid, make them uncertain, make them hesitate, then strike. Churchill survived the war, survived captivity in Yugoslavia, escaped, returned to combat, disappointed when the war ended. Quote, if it wasn't for those damned Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years. He went on to become a professional surfer, a male model, an instructor, all while keeping his sword. He died in 1996, age 89. The sword was buried with him. His legacy isn't the medieval weapons. It's the understanding that unconventional thinking wins when conventional thinking fails, that sometimes the most ridiculous idea is the most effective. Command called his sword ridiculous, until one officer's medieval trick captured 42 Germans. Then they stopped calling it ridiculous, started calling it effective, and asked him to do it again.